Ashley and Gus, and welcome to Travel Tuesday. We're going to share 10 tips with you today on that we do before we travel. But first, I'm going to share a story. It leads to one of my tips. So last year, we were in Tampa. We were in St. Pete Beach, Florida, running an event, and we were there for about 10 days. And on the final day, we went from St. Pete. We had a rental car. We drove down to Sarasota because we had never been there before. We had a great day, hung out all day.
Awesome.
And then we got to the Tampa International Airport. We returned our rental car, and within 15 minutes of returning the rental car, we got the news that our flight, which was a Sunday now, was canceled and delayed until Wednesday. They canceled 100 flights that day at Tampa.
It wasn't just us.
It wasn't just us.
But
we're seasoned travelers, and now you cancel 100 flights. You're looking, what availability is there for hotel rooms? What's the option? What the rental car we just dropped off that we were paying like $40 a night for now became $1,000 a night.
Right, because demand went up.
Demand went up instantly.
Total spike. Yes.
Everybody was rental cars. The hotels were quickly filling up. I literally grabbed Hotel Tonight and booked the first hotel I could find that was like under $200 a night. And just being prepared to know that when things go south, you have to be, what's your backup plan or what's your plan B? So my first tip is have a plan B, because stuff can go south on you. It will go wrong. It can go wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it. Believe me, the airline employees,
they didn't want to cancel the flight.
They don't want to cancel flights. They're not there to make your life more difficult. In fact, their life even became
exceedingly more
horrendous.
Difficult. Yeah.
I mean, the crazy part was what we were pissed off about is we got behind.
We knew that they were going to cancel the flight.
They knew they were going to cancel.
They were going to cancel the flight
about 2 hours before they canceled it. Had they done that, we had a rental car, we had a suite at St. Pete Beach Resort.
It was sold out. We would have had to check out.
Anyway. We still would have gotten hooked. We still would have gotten hooked up with something.
Options.
Yeah, we just spent 6 figures at this resort with an event. They would have hooked us up with something. Anyway, having Plan B is my number one tip. Ash.
That's a great tip. So my first tip that I'm going to share with you is on packing. So for anybody who's traveling, either like they're planning to wear some nice gowns or just some nice clothes for, say, a family event, or if you're traveling for business, I save the plastic bag from the dry cleaning bags. I always save them. I always use them. I put one individual thing in there, and that basically keeps your clothes from rubbing against each other and getting wrinkled. So
they'll never be wrinkled.
I will tell you, every time I use these, my clothes come out nice. So that's plastic. Tip number one.
Okay.
Do you want to do tip number?
I'll do my next tip. My next tip.
I've got a bunch of things.
Research your destination.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, every destination you go to, and we're talking mostly here where we traveling by, a couple hundred miles away from wherever you are, whether it's by plane or train or car. Research your destination. You'll be shocked that, like, even we're in Fort Lauderdale and just 20 miles further south of Miami, the food scene is completely different, and there's different things to do. Yeah. We're all in South Florida here, and it's just like that every place in the country. We just got back from Louisville, Kentucky. They do bourbon there. I think we've mentioned this on one of our things before.
At least one.
lots of bourbon.
I don't know how you plan for that, but yeah.
No, the plan is you simple like
figure out which place you're going to get bourbon.
Yeah. But anyway, research the culture, research the food, research.
Good idea.
The sites you should be seeing.
Absolutely, that's a good one. Thank you. I have another one on packing. I use plastic. So the plastic sleeves on the bag. Plastic bags with the closure up at the top. I'm going to do a little shout out for either Ziploc or anything.
The amount of times we've shown up at a hotel.
Oh my God.
Whatever we had in there.
Full of whatever the liquid was.
Yeah.
At least that was all that went wrong. It didn't get all over my clothes. It didn't get all over my shoes. It didn't get all over my everything. It wasn't spilling out. We did have one time something was spilling out twice.
Twice, and the
I
same
stopped
product.
using the
It was
product.
the same
I'm like,
product
I'm never
twice.
using this stuff again because I can't bring it with me.
One
So
time
anyway,
we didn't even leave where we were staying. It started leaking as soon as we
and
packed
it was in one of these. So my point is, use the plastic bags. They're disposable. If you're if you're flying where you're going, there's air pressure. It will sometimes blow out whatever you have inside.
Yeah.
This will at least contain that. So
All right.
number whatever.
My next tip.
Next tip.
Make copies of your passport,
That's a good one.
license, all important documents. If you have a traditional suitcase, any suitcase I've had, and we've owned probably 4 dozen bags over the last 10 years because they get destroyed. I don't care how much you pay for them or how good they are, whether they have a warranty or not, they all get destroyed. Anyway, they have a liner inside that you can unzip. I slide them in each one of our pieces of luggage. God forbid you lose your passport or something happens to your passport. If you're in a foreign country, you can go to the U.S. Embassy, and at least having your passport number, having a picture of your passport will
it helps
speed along the multi-hour, if not multi-day situation. That's right. But anyway, make copies of it. Make copies of your boarding pass, and the same thing. Also, I always screenshot my boarding pass on my phone, just because you get in line and all of a sudden
you can't find the piece of paper.
There's no internet connection.
Oh, right.
And you have this, and you're trying to find your.
That's true.
You're trying to find your boarding pass. If you screenshot it, it's fine.
Right.
You can't do that with everything, though.
That's true.
You can't do that with tickets and concerts and stuff like that, because once it's scanned.
Right. It's a one-time scan situation, but yeah.
It's a one-time scan, but they also change it. They also change the QR code sometimes.
Oh, that's. Well,
We've seen that happen.
So great tip. So my next tip is just from a planning the packing standpoint. I kind of stop and I think about what I'm planning to do each day that I'm on my trip. Am I working in the morning and then I'm probably going to, say, a party in the evening? That's 2 different outfits, or one dress with a jacket or something like that. But I try to think about what activities I'm going to do each day, what I'm likely to wear, what I might be able to wear twice on a trip if it's a really hot destination. Do they have laundry? So I just try to plan what I'm doing so I have an idea of what clothes I'm going to be bringing.
Next. Plan. Is this by 4? Number 4.
This is your number 4.
Plan your transportation.
That's a good
How are you getting from wherever you are to where you're going to go? Even if you're driving yourself, if you're staying in a major city with a hotel or resort or something like that, be aware that there's going to be a parking fee. And it can be, we're in Chicago, I think it was $80 a night to park your car. You can rent a car for 40, it's going to charge you $80 to keep it each day.
Yeah, Uber.
Yeah, Uber. We had a nightmarish situation. We were in the Dominican Republic a couple years ago, and we got out of the airport, and it was chaos.
Okay, even in the airport.
Even in there, everybody was trying to buy our luggage. Everybody was trying to take our luggage. They were trying to take our luggage things and take.
Yeah.
And we thought we had it planned out, and we are seasoned travelers. But even when we got into the taxi we were in, I was not 100% sure that we were in the right vehicle.
Yeah, we had to call our host and just say, we're at the airport. What are we supposed to do? Is there a sign? Is there something we should be looking for? Because it was such chaos.
It was such chaos at the Dominican Republic. I would not bring a group there of non-seasoned travelers.
Or I would make sure that you have somebody there to manage the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole time they're there. So that's one of those planned things.
There's other things too. So planning, like a lot of times the transportation can be much cheaper than an Uber or something like that, especially in European cities.
If it's a group, yeah.
We had a little bit of a language barrier the first time we went to use the trains in Germany. But once we figured it out, it was fantastic.
It was.
But you had you download. In fact, we learned about the app at the JFK airport, of which app to download and how to get around.
And Gus managed all of that. I'm so glad he did.
Yeah.
So my last tip is on play. But I'm going to go really the hotel. Research the hotel. What amenities does it have? Does it have a pool? Does it have a gym? Does it have Does it have a lobby bar? Does it have things that are nearby? The more you know about where you're going, the more confident you're going to feel about the services that they have. I also recommend, because I've seen this happen before, just make a quick call to the front desk while you're still at home packing. Gus always says bring a swimsuit with you. Just leave it in your suitcase, because you just never know when you're going to have the opportunity to hop into either a pool or a hot tub. But I would say if you're planning to go travel to a place that has a pool,
and you're planning on using the pool,
and you're planning on using the pool, ask to make sure that the pool is actually like usable. I've had it happen.
We've had it happen multiple times.
I've had it at least twice in the last few years where I got to the hotel, used the pool, and then the next day they closed it because they were fixing something on it. And they totally knew they were going to, but of course there's no message about this on their website. So because they're just not updating their website.
We ran into somebody on the last trip we were just on that, like went to this hotel for the pool, and the pool was closed. They had kids and stuff like this.
We ran this conference in Miami and stayed at the hotel we were going to stay at. And then as soon as we got done with the conference, they were like, oh, well, the pool's closed for maintenance. And I was just like, okay, I now have no desire to stay here.
I will say this, though, if you're going to Vegas and you're staying at either an MGM or a Caesars property, they'll usually give you pool rights to a sister property.
Okay.
That's happened to us before.
Well,
we
they
stayed
did
in
that
Mandalay.
in Chicago, too, but it was like 2 blocks away, and it was freezing cold out. I'm like, I'm not walking 2 blocks to use a pool at another hotel.
Was Chicago where they had the indoor pool?
Get wet. Yeah. Which one?
Is that at the Palmer House? They have an indoor pool
They
there?
do not have a pool at the Palmer House.
There was someplace we stayed recently had an indoor pool.
Okay.
It's pretty wild.
Oh.
My last tip
Yes.
is bring a great attitude.
Yes.
Again,
That's
I'll
a good
mention
one.
things will go south, and they often do. Things will change. They're out of your control. They're out of the hotel's control. They're out of
Make the best of it.
and it's nobody's.
It's not about blame.
You can't get all
upset.
We see these videos
You
on,
can, but it doesn't get you anywhere.
especially cruise lines and airports, and everybody's losing their shit, and then somebody's getting arrested. When you're on an airline or a cruise ship, you're dealing with federal and international territories
and laws.
You do not want
You
to
just gotta be careful.
break them.
Be gracious.
Here's another pro tip that
Okay.
it doesn't affect.
It's a bonus
us,
tip.
If you're going on a cruise,
Uh-oh.
leave your consumables behind, your edibles. If you have a warrant out for your arrest, I don't know this firsthand. I just know this because I'm in travel. If you have a warrant out for your arrest, and you get on the cruise ship,
Don't take a cruise.
the cruise is legally bound to tell the authorities that you're on their vessel. You'll go out and you'll cruise around. You have a great time for 3, 7, 10 days, and you get back to the United States port, and you'll be taken off the vessel for the rest of your family in handcuffs. I've seen it multiple
just
times.
Be careful if you're about to hop on a cruise. Make sure you don't have anything outstanding.
Yeah.
Last pro tip: make sure you have a nice, big, obnoxious luggage
Identifier.
tag.
It doesn't even have to be a luggage tag. It can be an identifier.
Something to identify your luggage. They do all look alike. We are all going to Marshalls or TJ Maxx and getting the same luggage. So make sure that yours stands out.
We had somebody take our luggage one night.
Oh my God.
And what shocked me the most was they checked their keys into their checked luggage.
That's a no-no.
Do not check your house
We couldn't
keys
get
and
into
car.
his house.
We couldn't get in his car, was it?
I'm like, why would you anyway?
They got to the parking lot, and
So that was lucky for us because then they brought our bag back because they realized it wasn't their bag.
the luggage looked exactly the same. And again,
exactly the same.
don't take the wrong luggage. They don't fool around. I mean,
Right.
literally, this was in Philadelphia, and they were like on the phone with the police almost immediately, like stolen luggage and tagged and that. It was crazy. Yeah, so don't take someone else's luggage. Make sure your luggage is tagged. I actually grabbed somebody's bag by mistake at an airport one time, and their bags were identical.
Yeah.
I mean, their bag and our bag
This is
was
why you put a big
identical
obnoxious
bag, and
tag.
I
Big
realized.
obnoxious tags.
Yeah, I
Save
realized
these
it.
types of trips.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Guys, thanks for joining us for Travel Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.